Hey Madison, thanks for opting into the video critique here. Um, I think you're off to a good start with your icons. I actually really like your monochromatic pink color scheme here. That's kind of fun. Your lines are nice. You have some good rounded edges, which I appreciate. This paper looks good. You do have some sketches appearing in the background, so make sure those are removed before you submit your final. Pink marker looks very good. And this pencil looks nice as well. So you've done a pretty good job. I do see a little white line here. It's probably the background shape of this rectangle shape, the lighter pink one. So make sure you don't have that coming through before you submit this one in the final. I think you've done a really nice job of paying attention to detail, but still keeping it simplistic. For example, the bottom of this marker, how it has the bump out like that. That's a tiny detail. And it doesn't necessarily add to the visual confusion of the design, but it looks really good. Okay, so I like that a lot. I think maybe the next thing you could do is you could play around with a few different options. So I'm going to show you a few things that will take these probably to the next level. They would be fine to leave them just as they are, but it might help them feel even more professional. One thing that you could do is you could play around with doing a background shape behind these, which would mean these would probably get a little bit smaller than they are currently. Since you have a lot of rectangular type shapes, I would probably go with a circle, or actually rectangle with the rounded edges might look nice as well. So a lot of times people do a variety of colors where yours are all monochromatic. I might lean toward just doing something simple like a nice gray circle in the background. Your shapes are very straightforward on the edges. So one thing you could do is do a cool pole shadow. So I'm not sure which of these videos would be the best one, but if you wanted to do something like that, curved shadow, that's interesting. I think it's called a long shadow. That's what it's called. You could do a long shadow on your shapes, and that would look really cool because they're pretty straightforward on the edges. And just envision this kind of pulled off this side. You could, if you did that, you could leave a simple background like this, and then just have a gray or even a pink long shadow, which would look cool. Or if you did like a gray circle, you could do gray like this, or any other color you think would look good with the pink. Something else you could do is an effect. Let's see. That sometimes it's tricky for me to find just an example off the top of my head, just searching. This is almost like it. I'm going to say the closest is this one. So see how this has kind of a darker side to it to add dimension? You can do this, but you split it down a center median. So you have almost a line with the same colors, but they're slightly darker on one side. So you would have a middle line here, or actually this would be a great example. You'd have a middle line here, and then on the right side of the page, your colors are slightly darker, more saturated than on the left-hand side. And that kind of helps it look a little bit more like there's a little bit of extra something going on. Let's see if I can find one. Here's an example of long shadow looking really cool. I might have to keep on searching and just post a link for you for what I'm talking about. Boop, boop. Okay, I'll keep on looking, not on the video. But you're going to have maybe on the right side a little bit darker, a little bit higher contrast and on the left side. And that will just kind of add a little bit of extra something since your icons are pretty straightforward, which I like that they're straightforward. That could just add a little extra oomph to them. Okay, here's something else you could do, just a dot underneath them, kind of have them look like they're elevating. All right, so there are a few different options when it comes to taking them to the next level, but I really like them as they are. I think they're off to a really good start. It's just playing around with maybe one or two things that's going to help them have a little bit of extra dimension, a little bit of professionalism. Okay, so really, really nice start. Make sure you get those sketches out of the background is the most important just from grade perspective. Everything else is finessing them and adding a little bit of an extra wow factor because they're already really solid. All right, thanks, Madison.